Hold on, stop, proceed with caution. Someone once said healthy boundaries lead to healthier relationships. We believe that healthy boundaries lead to healthier financial love relationships. Not having these boundaries can lead to misunderstanding, misinterpretation, because you can't just assume that the woman you're dating understands your financial boundaries. So, fellas, we are talking about financial boundaries that must be communicated to the women we're dating. If you didn't know by now, my name is Tamoa Danielle. Stay and watch the entire video because this info is need to know. Dating is already a tricky game, but add in a lack of understanding regarding your money moves, and this can put you straight on the defense. So we are breaking down 5 boundaries that men must set with the women they're dating. Let's get into it. Number 1, communication about your financial standards. It's important and imperative to communicate your financial standards. We have to discuss our attitudes and our relationships about money. Now, I know you're thinking, Tamoa, we are dating. I don't even know if she's going to be my wife. I don't know if I want a long-term relationship. I get it. I really do. I get it. But the truth of the matter is, because she may think you're going to foot the bill for all of your dates, for all of the expenses, you certainly don't want her just to assume that. You might want to split the bill. She might think it's okay for her not to participate in paying anything. In order to really communicate that and to find out what is all fair game, that information has to be discussed. Wouldn't you want her to know whether you were going to spend all your money or she was going to spend yours or you were going to split it? I'm not trying to get in anybody's business, but I'm just saying, if you are the one that is paying all the expenses, that is certainly your prerogative or your business, but she certainly has the right to know this. That way she can keep her money in her pocket. Not talking about this can lead to some very uncomfortable dates. Oh boy, number 2, avoid using money as power. The dynamic with money should never be used as a tool to exert power or control in the relationship. You know the phrase, the power of the purse? Well, this should never be something that is equated with our love relationships. Whoever has the more money has the power. I don't even know what kind of power we're talking about. However, the reality is that this does happen, whether it's conscious or unconscious, and is something that we can even believe either way about ourselves and whether money makes us feel more powerful. But in our love relationships, having this kind of mindset is going to lead to trouble. We have to remember that we have certain beliefs around money and understanding around money. And this is a good way to detach from that power struggle. You have to talk about it. So for me, I would never want a man that I'm dating to think that he has some kind of ultimate power over me because he makes more money than me or he pays for things when we go out on dates or trips or anything like that. This for me is an absolute no-go. So we have to have those conversations about our emotions that are connected with money that make us feel a certain way. Trust me, this will keep everybody out of hot water. Number 3, be mindful and look out for those red flags. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention to any red flags in your financial relationships. Things like being secret about money, unequally sharing expenses, especially if you agree to share the expenses of your dating. Fellas, I know she's beautiful. I know she has a wonderful personality. You have so many things in common and goals that you think are just wonderful. You're even thinking about having a long-term relationship with her. But the reality is she may be carrying past hurt from a previous relationship. And this is coming up in her behaviors. And this is what you're seeing as a red flag. So you must get clarity because ignoring the red flags will lead to hurt feelings on both sides. Okay, let me just say before I go into number 4, I am not wanting to get anybody in trouble, but I believe that doing this shows appreciation to the other person. So here we go. Number 4, setting boundaries for gifts and spending. So, guys, I think that it's important for women and men to both give gifts, but there should be some type of spending limit on the gift. You may feel pressure to buy your woman a gift. However, setting healthy spending limits can take the pressure off of you. Having discussions revolving around the spending on these gifts can definitely also take the pressure off the woman, because if she believes in buying you gifts as well, she may think that she has to compete with what you're giving her. It prevents misunderstanding and it helps to maintain a healthy balance. Number 5, creating an equally balanced financial sharing when dating. So let's just start by discussing traditional gender roles, right? So, like we discussed earlier, the man may suggest that he pays for everything, all the dates, all of the lavish, trips that you may have, all of the wonderful dinners. But really it's important to go ahead and establish who's going to pay for what trips and activities you all think that are important for you guys to share, or one person to foot the bill, the other to pay for other things. The whole point is, if this discussion is never had without establishing this boundary, it can definitely lead to resentment, irritation, and sometimes maybe even the silent treatment. But if we discuss these matters, it will definitely promote equality in our relationship. Now, with that being said, I must say that everyone's relationship looks different, and what a couple agrees upon and what you're communicating to her, guys, is really what makes the difference in this situation. So it's not a one size fit all relationship situation. Also, remember, at the end of the day, you're not sharing how much money you have. You're not necessarily sharing your investments, your savings. You're not sharing all of your money business. You're not sharing your blood type. But this is about building a financial trust and understanding with boundaries and standards for a healthy dating relationship for the woman that you're interested in. For the woman that, one day may be your wife, maybe you will have a long-term relationship with this woman. Something that I didn't discuss earlier that I do think is important about this whole entire blueprint concerning what these boundaries look like for men dating women. So, fellas, I think that is important to know that all women don't think the same when it comes to discussing these financial boundaries. And just saying that a woman that doesn't respect you being transparent and open and wanting to set boundaries may not be the woman for you. I think that setting up these things early and establishing it early in the relationship, it sets a tone for the relationship so it can stay on a nice standard, at even balance, and it sets up an environment where other things can be discussed that are just as important. Now let's move into our credit gem of the day. I know that you guys have heard me say this over and over and over again, but I'm going to say it again. Don't use your debit card to pay your monthly expenses or even your day-to-day expenses like gas and groceries. Now, do remember, when you're using your credit card to pay your monthly expenses, you want to use a credit card that has rewards, that has points, that has cash back. You want to be rewarded for the money that you're spending, but it does take strategy when you're utilizing this. The number one thing that you want to make sure is that you're paying your credit card debt off by the statement date so that that debt doesn't get reported to the credit bureau and impact your utilization, which will drop down your score. You definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to whatever strategy you're using because you don't want it to impact you in a negative way. Also, remember, you're spending the money anyway, so you might as well get a return on your money. Well, I appreciate you spending time with me today. It has been a pleasure. Please share, subscribe, like, comment, share out with 5 people. And remember, you are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.